Now, pre-market plan-wise, we were all the way down here. I do my pre-market plan from 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So 8:30, we can mark out 8:30 is right here, 8:30 to 9 o'clock. So around this area, this is where I'm making my plan to say I want to see if the market can push back higher towards that 5,700 level. And what did we get when the market opened? Well, first we tried to use this demand as supply. We rejected it right here, but then we ended up failing the pre-market lows. Once we failed those pre-market lows, we were also able to get our 15-minute candle to close. So this is where the strategy comes in, guys. This is the ORB trading strategy, opening range breakout. So we see we have our high and low. So what we're going to do for our orb strategy is we're going to come to the 15-minute time frame, and we have to wait for the first 15-minute candle to form on whatever stock we're looking at. So for today, it's the ES. We're looking at the high of the 930 candle and the low of the 930 candle. This is going to be our orb or opening range. So once we have a break of that range, that's when we have some confirmation to sort of look for direction. So once we were able to break it down, we saw that we were holding, right? We broke this range with strength after failing that pre-market low. So we broke it right here with good volume. When we see the volume starting to match up at these lows right here on this candle. So this is the 9:45 5-minute candle. We see the strong volume increase to break this orb. Now, if we were looking at the previous day as well, and we could even use our orb range breakout indicator, and what that does is it's going to plot it for us. So we can look to see how the previous day's orb traded, and we see we had a single breakdown. We could see how the previous day traded before that, and see we had a single breakout. Now, this might not sound that informative or that helpful, but what this is telling me is it seems that the market is picking a direction and sticking to it. This day, like I said, we had a single breakout because we broke out here, we re-entered the range, and we failed to break lower. So this is a breakout of our orb. We had our single break lower on this other day, which was yesterday. And now today we have our single break higher. So I would be looking for longs today, and that's what sort of kept me bullish. I was able to actually take this scalp right over here. I was using the tool Bookmap for order flow. Bookmap is a fantastic tool. It sort of plots the level 2 and time and sales information for us. Now, how I like to use Bookmap, guys, is I'll use the session volume profile, and I'll look for any low volume shelves, and that's where I'll look to enter. That's where we sort of see an imbalance in the books because the market wasn't able to accumulate or trade there long enough for orders to get filled. Right now, we don't have any good examples of that. Let's see if we have anything on the NASDAQ that might represent what I'm talking about. Not seeing much. What we'll see is, you see how it's sort of evened out? It'll be evened out, and then there will be a big slump. So it'll be 300 volume, 350, 400, 400, 400, and then there will be a random one, maybe 100 or 150, something that is obviously lower. That's where our imbalance in that market is, and that's usually a good place to spot for those long or short entries, depending on the direction of the market. Now, I do also like to keep an eye on this chart down here. This is the CVD. That's the cumulative volume delta. So that's if the volume for the day is bullish or bearish. So if it's green and above the 0 mark, then I know volume is bullish, and I like to trade with that trend and with that volume. As a retail trader, I don't have the volume needed to move markets. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the markets, right? We want to follow the bread trail. We are not here to try to force anything. We are here to ride the wave and find our trades. Let's see, we have gold over here. So here's a little bit of an example on gold. We see at 30.35 down here, we have a very strong negative delta, negative 494, with a volume of 502. So that means this 502 volume, almost all of it, everything except 8 volume was a negative delta. And what we get once we broke that low, we got a reversal at that point. And that's where this low volume was located, this 46 and this 53. So that's sort of where we would also look to see if we could get some type of reversal based off of this strong delta being trapped below us, or some type of reversal off of this lower volume. I don't see anything. Again, I was sort of looking for an example. Here we have a little bit of an example on crude oil. Yeah, absolutely. Gotta love it, guys. So right here we have on crude oil, we see our volume on the right hand side averaging about 618, 730, 800, and then we have our low volume shelves. This is 262 right here. We have 350 right here. Right above this 350, we have 615, we have 880. That's almost double the amount of volume. So these are the low volume nodes that I would be looking for the market to sort of stabilize or rebalance itself. Now, whether you use these zones as targets in your trades or use these zones as entries, that all depends on your personal preference and your trading strategy. Now, I like to use supply and demand, so what I'll do is I'll usually use trading view on my right hand side and I'll keep bookmap on the left, and I do have other monitors as well, so I'll keep the NASDAQ on my left screen on bookmap to make sure the order flow is remaining consistent too. That way I could see how we're reacting to my price levels. So if I'm getting a good reaction but it's in the middle of nowhere and it's not near my price levels, then I'm not going to have a trade. But if we're in a demand zone, we're near a liquidity sweep, then that gives me more confidence. Bookmap is just telling me and giving me the confirmation that my price level is going to work. Price levels, uh, just all this different technical analysis, FVGs are fair value gaps, supply, demand, liquidity sweeps, they don't move markets. Volume moves markets. Supply and demand trading, that helps to spot where we're able to find these key levels and key zones. But order flow, that's how we confirm if buyers are stepping in or not. Which bookmap plan has the real-time data I use? So I'm on bookmap global plus and I am using rhythmic data.